Imagine you've meticulously planned your dream vacation, only to discover that your destination is suddenly off limits for UK citizens in 2024. Unfortunately, this scenario is becoming more common. Countries that once embraced British travelers are now closing their doors. But before we dive into this list, welcome to our channel, your go-to guide for exploring various places around the globe. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to ensure you never miss an update. Let's aim for 500 likes and subscribers on this video. As global politics shift, safety concerns increase, and diplomatic relations change, so do travel restrictions. Whether it's due to tense political climates, safety alerts, or new visa regulations, some countries have become off-limits for UK passport holders. Let's take a closer look at the top 10 countries where UK citizens can no longer visit in 2024. Starting with number 10. Afghanistan, once a favorite spot for adventurers and history buffs, has sadly transformed into one of the most dangerous places for UK citizens in 2024. The return of the Taliban to power has led to extreme instability, with reports of violence and terrorism increasing by the day. The UK government has issued stern warnings against all travel to Afghanistan, citing high risks of kidnappings, bombings, and other forms of violence. British nationals still in the country are advised to leave immediately, as consular assistance is severely limited. The security situation has declined so rapidly that even humanitarian workers and journalists face grave dangers. Afghanistan's infrastructure is in ruins, and many areas are inaccessible. Furthermore, the Taliban's strict enforcement of Islamic law poses severe risks, especially for women and minorities. Despite international efforts to bring stability to the region, Afghanistan remains a high-risk zone with no signs of improvement in the near future. The surge in insurgent activity, coupled with the absence of effective government control, has made Afghanistan one of the most volatile nations on the globe. According to the UK Foreign Office, attacks targeting foreign nationals have risen by over 50% since 2023. For anyone still contemplating a trip to Afghanistan, the risks clearly outweigh any potential rewards. The deteriorating security situation, combined with a lack of essential services, makes traveling within the country nearly impossible. Even regions that were once deemed relatively safe are now fraught with danger. The future remains uncertain for Afghanistan, but for the time being, it's undoubtedly one of the most perilous places for UK citizens to visit. Moving on to Myanmar. Once celebrated for its rich cultural history and stunning landscapes, it has become increasingly inhospitable for UK citizens. The military coup in 2021 threw the country into chaos, leading to widespread protests, violence, and human rights violations. By 2024, the situation has only worsened, with the UK government advising against all non-essential travel to Myanmar. The military junta's brutal crackdown on dissent has resulted in thousands of deaths and the arbitrary detention of foreign nationals. The risk of getting caught in the violence or being wrongfully imprisoned is high, making Myanmar a no-go zone for UK travelers. The country's once thriving tourism industry has all but collapsed, with many popular sites now out of reach. Moreover, unreliable infrastructure and ongoing conflicts between the military and ethnic armed groups have made internal travel incredibly hazardous. The UK Foreign Office cautions that even areas like Yangon and Mandalay, previously considered safe, are now susceptible to sudden outbreaks of violence. In addition, the junta's tight control over the internet and communication networks means it's nearly impossible to stay in touch with loved ones while in Myanmar. The risk of arrest for simply voicing an opinion or carrying certain electronic devices is yet another significant concern for UK citizens. Despite international condemnation of the coup, there is little hope for improvement in Myanmar's political landscape. For anyone considering travel to Myanmar, the dangers far outweigh the potential rewards. The likelihood of getting caught in the conflict, coupled with the lack of consular support, makes Myanmar a destination to avoid at all costs. Now to Syria. Once known for its rich history and cultural landmarks, Syria has been torn apart by civil war since 2011. In 2024, the situation remains dire, with the UK government strongly advising against all travel to Syria due to the high risk of terrorism, kidnappings, and ongoing military conflict. The violence has left much of the country in ruins, with entire cities reduced to rubble. The threat of terrorist attacks is constant, as extremist groups like ISIS and others continue to operate in the region. UK citizens face very real dangers of being targeted by these groups, either for ransom or propaganda purposes. Syria is also in the midst of one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, with millions of people displaced and living in desperate conditions. The lack of basic services, such as healthcare and access to clean water, further increases the risk for those contemplating a trip to the region. Even seasoned aid workers and journalists find themselves at extreme risk while working in Syria. The government's strong grip on certain areas, combined with the ongoing conflict, makes navigating the country safely almost impossible. Anyone considering travel to Syria should be fully aware that the dangers far outweigh any perceived benefit. With violence capable of erupting anywhere, at any moment, and the lack of diplomatic relations between the UK and Syria making consular support practically non-existent, Syria remains one of the most dangerous places on earth for UK citizens. Despite efforts by the international community to bring peace, the future of Syria remains grim and unpredictable. Number 7. Yemen, once a jewel of the Arabian Peninsula for curious travelers, has descended into chaos due to an ongoing civil war that started in 2015. The conflict between rebel groups and the Yemeni government has torn the country apart, leading the UK government to advise against all travel. The risk of terrorism, armed conflict, and kidnappings has skyrocketed, and foreign nationals, particularly Westerners, are often targeted. Yemen's infrastructure is in ruins, and a severe humanitarian crisis is unfolding. Even aid workers are in danger, making it one of the most dangerous places for UK citizens. Number 6. Iran. While known for its historical treasures and rich culture, Iran has become increasingly hostile towards UK citizens. Diplomatic relations between the UK and Iran have deteriorated, and tensions have risen, leading to travel restrictions. Arbitrary detention of foreign nationals, especially on charges of espionage, has become more frequent, and the complex visa process, combined with political instability, makes travel risky. Strict Islamic laws pose challenges for travelers, and the UK's limited consular support further complicates the situation. Number 5. Haiti. Once a top choice for travelers seeking Caribbean adventure, Haiti is now one of the most dangerous places on the planet. The political instability in Haiti has reached critical levels, with the UK government advising against all travel due to the risks of kidnapping, gang violence, and civil unrest. Entire neighborhoods are controlled by criminal groups, and the country's infrastructure is in disarray. Frequent power outages, limited access to clean water, and a healthcare system on the brink of collapse make Haiti a highly dangerous place for UK citizens in 2024. Number 4. Somalia. Decades of civil war and instability have made Somalia a hotspot for terrorism and violence. The UK government strongly advises against all travel to Somalia, citing the risk of kidnapping by extremist groups like Al-Shabaab. Foreign nationals are prime targets for ransom, and the lack of a functional government has rendered the country lawless. Even humanitarian workers face extreme risks, and basic infrastructure is almost non-existent. For those who might still consider visiting Somalia, the risks far outweigh the rewards. Number 3. South Sudan. The world's youngest nation, South Sudan, remains embroiled in conflict and instability. Since gaining independence in 2011, the country has faced ongoing violence, with civil war continuing to ravage the nation. The UK government advises against all travel due to the high risks of armed conflict, kidnapping, and ethnic tensions. Infrastructure is severely lacking, and violence can erupt at any moment, making it nearly impossible to travel safely within the country. For UK citizens, South Sudan is a no-go zone. Number 2. Eritrea, one of the most repressive countries in the world, has become increasingly hostile towards foreign nationals. The UK government advises against all travel due to the high risk of arbitrary detention and severe travel restrictions. With ongoing conflict with neighboring Ethiopia and tight government control, foreign nationals face immense challenges in Eritrea. Consular support is extremely limited, and the risks of being detained on suspicion of espionage are high. And finally, number 1, Mali tops the list of countries UK citizens should avoid in 2024. The rise of extremist groups like Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, AQIM, has made the country highly dangerous. The UK government advises against all travel due to the high risks of terrorism, kidnapping, and armed conflict. Extremist groups operate with impunity, and infrastructure in the country is severely damaged, making safe travel impossible. With violence escalating and humanitarian crises worsening, Mali is now one of the most perilous destinations in the world. As we've explored, these 10 countries have become dangerous no-go zones for UK citizens in 2024, each with its own unique set of challenges. Whether it's due to terrorism, civil unrest, or government repression, the risks are too significant to ignore. Always prioritize your safety, stay informed by checking travel advisories regularly, and be cautious when making travel plans. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell icon to stay updated on our latest content. See you next time.